disintegrate. Years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
Any hero is only as good as the villain they need to become. And that's why, in 1982, He-Man was such a success. Because his villain Skeletor was incredible. A skull-faced barbarian wizard warrior, unreal. And today, Skeletor is one of the most iconic villains of all time. Up there with the likes of Darth Vader, Megatron, and Cobra Commander. Now, since I've been collecting Masters of the Universe, I've acquired quite a few Skeletors. Back in the day, we had different versions of them. We had regular Skeletor, Battle Armor Skeletor, Dragon Blaster Skeletor, Terraclaw Skeletor, and even Laser Light Skeletor. But in those variations, especially in that first one, there were variants out there. And recently I acquired one of the most rare variants of Skeletor. Now he's in pretty rough shape, but we're going to see if we can give him a hug and get him back on his feet. But I also have some regular Skeletors that just don't have their accessories. They're just kind of hanging out. So we're going to see what we can do today to give them some armor, a new look, maybe create a new Skeletor for the ages. So, I hope you're ready to have some Skeletor-based fun today. Here we go.
Fight or I'll turn you into a suitcase!
So here we have a regular run-of-the-mill Skeletor. This is kind of a very common issue of the first kind of Skeletor you can get. And here we have an example called the half-boot Skeletor. Now, he's got a regular head and regular construction, just half of his boots are painted, which means he's an earlier release. But then we have what I found in this bin, which is the pink cheeks. You can see he's got little lines of pink in his cheeks, and his trunks are purple and not black, and he has the half boots, which means this is the first issue of Skeletor, and his legs are a little janky and he's kind of dirty, but we are going to give him a hug and get him back in ship-shop shape. So first thing we're going to do is just use some hot soapy water, and we're going to gently wash the Skeletor. Just throw him into the bathtub there, and just let me scrub him, get that face looking good. And he's got some dirt in his joints here, and in his waist, and we're just going to clean him up. And then once he's all cleaned up, we can fix his janky legs. So now that we got Skeletor all cleaned up, he's looking great, he's still got these Jimmy legs here. And that's a very common problem with Masters of the Universe figures because of the rubber band construction that holds their legs together. They break all the time, they wear out, and they are a nightmare to change. And I've changed a number of them, and I've tried making tools to do it, and I've tried to riff on my tactics and my methods, and I'm okay at it. I can change them, but it takes a while, and it's never a smooth process, and you always really need to be careful they don't damage the figures. So I thought there needs to be a better way than these awkward to use He-Bands. So I went into my Flash Print 3D space and I recreated the shape and size of a He-Band. Now I'm not going to print this off into rubber, that's not going to work. I just wanted to get the size, and then once I had the He-Band made up, I cut it in half, kind of altered the end to create a little plug that could kind of work as a bit of a replacement for this He-Band, and you'll see what I have in mind here in a second. So now that I have this little leg plug printed up, with this groove that we've made in it, we're just going to slide an O-ring around it, and then we're going to insert that into one of his legs. And once that's in his leg, it's going to be much easier to manipulate and get a hold of than the He-Band, because you can actually get something inside that O-ring and get some pressure on it. So now I'm going to slip this O-ring, which is now firm in his leg with that plug, through his waist. We're going to put a screwdriver just to hold it there, and put another one of those plugs in the other loop, and simply push that into his other leg. And just having that O-ring makes this process so much faster and easier to use. These little plugs are a game changer, and his legs are in there, and he is good as new. And you can see there, we'll just give it a little tug, that these O-rings are in place and they hold the legs in there nice and snug, and it's a bit of a game changer. So now we're just going to put some period correct armor on him, get his belt on there, and I got this little short strap armor we're going to put on him, and then we're going to give him a Havoc staff, and we are going to have ourselves a pink cheek, purple trunks, half boot Skeletor, ready for the shelf. I am so excited about this guy. Now, a few months ago, when I designed up replacement Skeletor armor while I was doing a Faker restoration, I realized that once I had the base armor done, I could modify it and make some custom Skeletor armor. So the first one I made up was this, what I call Grayskull Escape Skeletor armor. And then I modified it again and made this overpowered magical one that I've called Firepower Skeletor. And then recently I made up some armor that kind of looked like it did in the movie a little bit, and we made up our final battle Skeletor. But I have a couple what I call naked Skeletors here, and we want to kind of make some armor for them and make up custom versions of it. This is actually a Dragon Blaster Skeletor. But I thought, what would it be like if Skeletor lost his Havoc staff and had no magic left, and he had to exist on his strength and fighting style alone? Well, he'd have to get really good at sword fighting, I think. So I made up some armor here, and we're going to make a sword expert. We'll call Blade Master Skeletor. So we're going to print this up, and we're also going to make up some swords for him. If he's going to be a Sword Master Skeletor, he's going to have some swords. So we'll design those up and print them off and see what this looks like. Alright, so we have our naked Dragon Blaster Skeletor here, and what I like to do when I'm molding these new armors around them, just to make it easier, is I pop their arms off, just so their arms don't get in the way when we're fitting the new armor around them. There, now that we have his arms off, we're just going to grab some hot water and put our armor pieces in there and fit them around. So here's his belt with a couple little holsters for some swords there. Just going to dunk that in the water for a few seconds, and then simply just wrap it around his waist. And then once we have it around his waist, we're just going to fit it in place, and then give these sword holsters just a little twist so they can hold their swords properly. We're all set. Alright, now we're going to just put the chest armor in the water, fit that around his body. And very quickly, while trying to fit this around here, I realized that the design I did has a flaw, and that these little side tassels are going to get caught on his belt. So what I'm going to do is remove the middle tassel. So you can see I've removed the middle tassel there, and hopefully that'll fit right around the holsters in the belt. There you go. And you can see that it fits right in place there, and it's all looking good. So we're just going to put his arms back on. Once his arms are back on, we can see if his swords all fit in his holsters. And if that works, we're going to have a Blade Master Skeletor, and he's going to look all set to go. Just take his little swords, and they should fit in his belt holsters, no problem. There we go. And the other one. Perfect. And then the two in his back that we designed up. Slide right in like that. And like that. And this Skeletor is ready for some battle. Alright, and now I have just another regular Skeletor here that is in need of a makeover and some new armor, so we're looking to do that's fun. Now, the other skeleton character was Scareglow, and we don't know if it's actually a ghost version of Skeletor or one of his Minions, we don't really know, but I thought that since it's pretty much canon now that Scareglow and Skeletor are different people, what would it look like if in a pinch Skeletor cast a spell on Scareglow and made armor out of him and imprisoned him in his armor? So he made up some armor with Scareglow's face in it and some chains that represent like imprisoning him in there, kind of a reference to the Christmas Carol. So we're going to put that into the hot water. We're going to shape it around Skeletor. I love where those chains look. They worked out. And once that armor's around him, that looks good. This might be my favorite Skeletor armor that I've made. I'm very excited about it. And then we're going to pop the belt on him. Just, fit it around him there. Get these chains out of the way. There we are. And then we're going to fit him with his weapons. There goes Havoc's staff. Give him the sword. This is a real simple design and a simple custom, but I think it's going to look fantastic. I love the way that looks already. And just like Scareglow, he will glow in the dark. Man, that looks cool.
So there you go. There's a restoration of pink-faced, half-boot Skeletor, the rarest of the rare. As well, we took some other Skeletors that were just kind of hanging out, gave them a new look, a little bit of makeover, and I am so excited to have them as part of my collection. If you like what we're doing, if you had as much fun as we did today, hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff. If you want to support us on Patreon, we really appreciate the support. But mostly, we're looking forward to seeing you on the next video.